Restaurants and bars have been particularly hard hit from the economic shutdown. Many in the industry worry about how long it'll take for it to rebound. Jon Taffer has talked a lot about this. Entrepreneur, TV personality, host, and executive producer of reality TV series Bar Rescue. He joins me from Las Vegas. Jon, from your industry standpoint, how bad is this?
Oh, it's devastated. Larry, I'm sitting here in Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas Strip is boarded up. Think about this. The casinos don't even have locks on their doors, Larry. They never contemplated locking a door before. So the doors are literally boarded up with security guards outside of everyone. We're in a complete shutdown here in Las Vegas, as the industry is in most places, but it's particularly devastating here.
Can we say that all restaurants are closed except for takeoff orders across the country?
Pretty much, Larry. I don't know of any that are open, even in states that are permitting it right now. I think that, people have taken this very, very seriously. And not only is it just to go and delivery, it's a different world today. It's about trusting a brand, trusting what they do. So we all have restaurants we'll order from and restaurants we won't order from based upon who we trust to be doing it right and safely now.
So what do you do, Jon? Just talk about it. Well, what can you, Jon Taffer, do?
Well, a number of things are. I think the industry is changing in a number of different ways. A great brand doesn't mean it's a great brand today unless it employs practices of sanitation and safety that redefine it. And it's interesting, Larry, I've been working with the National Restaurant Association and various people trying to help. And if we close our eyes and we think, what restaurant brand is known for cleanliness? None pop out. Not that none are uncleanly. I'm not suggesting that. But nobody owns the space of safety and clean and predictability. So I think the industry is going to change, Larry. I think that marketing now is going to be about trust, much more than even what we have. You might buy something that's slightly maybe inferior in flavor than another product if you trust the brand more. So it's redefining how we communicate with customers, and it's redefining how we act. And that's just a start, Larry. We're not sure exactly how it winds down, but there's several different scenarios.
What was the state of your industry before this hit?
Oh, Larry, we were having a wonderful year. I've been touring the country. I do a lot of motivational speeches and educational seminars. I mean, we're having 700,000 small businesses start in every quarter. I mean, the restaurant industry was up, spending was up, consumer confidence was up. That's why this so hurts so badly, because as an industry, we were on a roll. Our biggest problem was finding employees in today's economy. We had business. So this has cut off our legs when we were running, not walking, and it stings.
Have a lot of food gone to waste?
Larry, yes. And of course, we're giving it away. Here in Las Vegas, hundreds of pallets of food have been given away by the casinos and such. But restaurants all around the country are trying to do that. But in very many ways, health codes prohibit that. We have a liability if we give away food and it isn't refrigerated properly. So in states and areas where we can't just give it to charity because health codes prohibit that, we're giving it to employees, we're giving it to friends, we're doing everything we can. But that raises an interesting point, Larry, about how the business reopens. Because all the government relief programs now and stimulus programs now are focused on payroll, rent, utilities, covering those type of expenses. But, Larry, when all of this food is given away and thrown away because it's wasted, every restaurant in America has an empty refrigerator. So now they need the money when the stimulus kicks in and emergency procedures are over and we open up again after the pandemic. Every restaurant needs the money to put in a completely new fresh food inventory. In many cases, completely new frozen food inventory. And there's no provision in the current stimulus for that. So we're hoping in the restart stimulus that there is some consideration to move dollars through for restaurant inventory. Because, of course, Larry, that affects farmers, food manufacturers, everyone down the chain.
Are you happy with the way this administration has handled this?
I believe that we, he didn't step into it in the best of places. I'm not sure that everything was set up to
No.
handle this properly. But I do believe in my dealings with the federal government and such that I think that everybody there is doing everything they can right now with what they have to work with. And it seems the past week or so, some things are coming together. The hospitals are getting set up in certain cities like Javits in New York, et cetera. I think we're starting to maybe get our materials and our beds and everything ahead of it. So, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I sense we might be turning a corner in New York now, which would be terrific.
Well, Andrew Cuomo has certainly shown in this, hasn't he? He's risen to the front.
Oh, he has. He's shown himself as a manager for sure, Larry, and as a leader in the way he's presented himself. But in as much as I'm very impressed with the way he's handled this, I can't help but remember when De Blasio wanted to close New York City down, and Cuomo pushed back on that for a while. And so, I think he might have gotten on board a little late, but I think he's been magnificent in the way he's handled it since then.
What happens to all the restaurant workers that are out of work? What happens to them?
That's a really scary scenario, Larry. And when we talk with industry leaders, we're looking at maybe 30 to 40% fallout of independent restaurants. Before this pandemic started, unemployment was low, jobs were plentiful. So if they left working for their restaurant, they could go find a job someplace else. The fact of the matter is, we're probably going to lose a bunch of them. On the other hand, new sanitation standards and practices might add some bodies to a restaurant as well because of the procedure changes, constant cleaning, things like that. So there could be a positive side to it. I think some of them are going to become delivery drivers. And I've suggested to my friends that are in the restaurant business that can't work inside the restaurant now, start working on deliveries, because a restaurant can serve 100 people in an hour within the restaurant, Larry. But serving 100 deliveries within an hour is a different thing. So delivery support is I think a key element now, where restaurant employees can pitch in and make a few dollars and at least keep the kitchens going.
Will nationwide chains benefit more than the local independent restaurant?
I think, Larry, it's how they reposition themselves. And we're starting to see it on the advertising now, where they're repositioning. They're showing that their employees are in gloves and they're wearing hats and they're wearing masks. And, it's the national brands that step out and present an image of trust and safety that are going to win. All bets are off on old communications. If the burger is thick and juicy and wonderful, Larry, but you don't trust the standards of the place, to hell with that burger. So trust is going to be such a key element in food service as we move forward. And we're going to see brands shifting their marketing communications and such to building trust. Again, I think it's all about trust. Every business, Larry, whether it's the local deli, the restaurant, the supermarket, we're going to start going to where we trust their practices. And that's a game changer.
Yeah, and how do you build that trust? Because you just reopened. How do you get the guy in the neighborhood to trust eating at your restaurant?
It's interesting. I was on social media yesterday and I saw a picture for a restaurant, and it was a gentleman about my age laying a lasagna noodle in a pan, Larry. And the caption on the photograph was, "Our famous lasagna will be available for curbside pickup at 5 o'clock." But the guy was wearing street clothes. He wasn't wearing a mask. He didn't have a hat on. He was wearing plastic gloves, but that was it. That's exactly the message that we can't send. So the images that we send have to show cleanliness and people in white, clean clothes and maybe masks on their faces, certainly the right gloves, materials. It's all the visual messages that we send. And the way we present ourselves now has to build that trust. It's a whole different way of marketing now. Right?
Can you describe for me what Vegas looks like?
Yes. I drove down the strip yesterday on my way to a grocery store, so I diverted. And Larry, these are the largest hotels in the world, right here in Las Vegas, and they're completely closed. The driveways have nothing in them. They're roped off at the street. You can see a security guard standing in front of each of the doors. Uh, uh, the city is completely closed down. There's not one casino open, not one restaurant in any of the casinos open. I went to Town Center, which is our outside sort of, not one car anywhere. Larry, it looks like a war zone, and it's horrifying. And when we look forward, I worry, when is the next time somebody like you and I are going to get in an elevator and go up to the 30th floor?
Wow. How much business do you have in Las Vegas?
Well, my company is closed down. My media company, I'm doing this obviously from home. So my media company is closed. All my friends' restaurants and bars, of course, my production is closed. Bar Rescue shut down in the middle of the season. So about 102 people lost their jobs then. Our consulting practices narrowed down, our media practice. We're at a crawl right now, Larry. And we're all just trying to make a difference, just like you are. We're trying to make a difference. I want to give people some hope in the future. There's little things that restaurants can do when they reopen. For example, let's say that we have to spread tables out, Larry, to create more distance between people. If we do that, let's say we lose 30% of our seating capacity. Well, that means we lost 30% of our revenue capacity. I used to run lunch specials for an hour, hour and a half, from let's say 12 to 1:30. Now I'm going to run early bird specials for lunch, late bird specials for lunch. I need to turn that 1 hour lunch into a 3 hour lunch so I can seat the same amount of people that day. So these are the kind of changes we'll make as we go into this.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic?
Right now, Larry, I'm optimistic, and here's why. For entrepreneurs and people that get it, when this ends, could be one of the most exciting times that we've ever had. I know there's going to be struggle, but marketers are going to have very incredible opportunities to redefine and bubble up to the top and be that one who creates the formulas for tomorrow. Marketers and communicators and operators and procedural people, there's going to be huge opportunity for these people to reestablish all these businesses. So, in as much as I sit here like you, Larry, in quarantine in my 25th day or so, I'm really looking forward to this new marketing world, this new business universe. There's a lot of excitement within that premise if we can get past where we are now.
Jon Taffer, thank you so much and stay safe.
Same here, Larry. See you at the Friars Club.